We've all been there. You're working on a project, feeling good, then suddenly, your screw strips. Most people blame cheap screws, but the real issue is usually technique. Not drilling a pilot hole, using the wrong driver bit, or driving too fast can all cause stripped screws. The good news? These mistakes are easy to fix. Master the basics, and you'll get clean, tight screws every time. No frustration, just great results. When you drive a screw into wood without a pilot hole, the screw has to cut its own threads and push through dense fibers, creating a lot of resistance and pressure. This can strain the screw head, strip it, or even split the wood, especially near the edge. A pilot hole removes just enough material to give the screw a clear path, reducing friction and making driving the screw much easier. Think of it like walking a cleared path through a dense forest, much easier than forcing your way through. That's why a pilot hole is essential for clean, strong, and easy screw installation. After drilling your pilot hole, the next key step is using the correct driver bit for your screw. It sounds simple, but grabbing the wrong size is a common mistake. Phillips, Torx, and square drive screws all come in specific sizes. Using the wrong bit leads to stripped screws. If the bit doesn't fit snugly, it'll wobble and damage the screw head. Always match your bit to your screw before driving. A good labeled bit set saves time and frustration. Take a few seconds to check, and you'll get a clean, professional result. In our fast-paced world, it's tempting to rush, but when driving screws, slow and steady truly wins the race. High speed can strip screw heads, scorch wood, and make it hard to control your drill. Instead, set your drill to a low speed and use the clutch to prevent over-tightening. Drive the screw slowly and steadily for a smooth, secure fit every time. Remember, patience pays off in woodworking. You've drilled your pilot hole, selected the right bit, and are driving the screw slowly. But as the screw head nears the surface, the wood splinters and tears. This happens when you skip countersinking. Countersinking cuts a cone-shaped recess for the screw head. This lets the screw sit flush, preventing splintering and damage. Without it, the screw head isn't supported, and the wood weakens. Creating a countersink is simple. Just use a countersink bit after drilling your pilot hole. Go just deep enough for the screw head to sit flush. Taking this extra step makes your work look clean and professional. While technique is the most common reason for stripped screws, we can't ignore the hardware itself. Sometimes, the screw really is the problem. In an effort to save money, many people buy bulk packs of generic low-cost screws from bargain bins or online marketplaces. The issue with many of these cheap screws is that they are made from very soft metal alloys. This makes them cheaper to manufacture, but it also means they are not very durable. The metal is so soft that the head can strip out with very little resistance, even if your technique is perfect. You can often tell a low-quality screw just by looking at it. The threads might be poorly formed, the head recess might be shallow or off-center, and the metal might look dull. A good quality screw, on the other hand, is usually made from hardened steel. This makes it much more resistant to stripping and breaking. They often have sharper, more precisely cut threads that bite into the wood more effectively. High-quality screws might also feature special coatings that reduce friction and prevent corrosion, as well as improved drive designs like the Torx or square drive we mentioned earlier. Think of it this way: you wouldn't build a house on a weak foundation. The screws are what hold your project together, so they are part of its foundation. Using cheap, soft screws is like using crumbly bricks. It might save you a few dollars up front, but you are compromising the long-term strength and integrity of whatever you are building. A joint held together with a high-quality screw will be stronger and last longer than one held by a cheap screw that might have stripped during installation or could even snap under stress later on. My advice is to invest in good quality screws from a reputable brand. It might cost a little more, but the difference in performance is night and day. You will have far fewer stripped heads, fewer broken screws, and a much less frustrating experience in the workshop. Look for screws that are labeled as hardened steel or designed for specific applications like cabinet screws or deck screws. When you hold a quality screw in your hand, you can often feel the difference. It feels more substantial and well made. Saving a few cents on a screw isn't worth the headache of having to extract a stripped one later. Here's a great tip that old-timers and professional woodworkers have been using for generations, but it's something you don't see very often anymore. If you are driving a lot of screws, especially long screws or screws into very hard wood, a little bit of lubrication can make a world of difference. This simple trick dramatically reduces the friction between the screw and the wood, allowing it to drive in much more smoothly and with far less effort. Less effort means less strain on your drill, less strain on your arm, and, most importantly, less strain on the screw head. What kind of lubrication do you use? You don't need any fancy or expensive products. The two best things to use are things you probably already have around the house or in the shop. Soap or wax. A simple bar of soap or a block of paraffin wax, or even an old candle, works perfectly. All you have to do is gently drag the threads of the screw across the surface of the soap or wax before you drive it. You just want to get a light coating in the threads. This tiny amount of lubricant is incredibly effective at reducing friction. When you drive the lubricated screw, you will immediately feel the difference. The screw will turn more easily and your drill won't have to work as hard. This is especially helpful when you don't have a powerful drill or when you are driving screws by hand with a screwdriver. The reduction in friction means there is much less torque required to seat the screw, which significantly lowers the risk of the bit camming out and stripping the head. It also helps prevent the wood from splitting, as the screw can cut its threads more cleanly instead of tearing the fibers. This trick is a lifesaver when working with dense hardwoods like oak, maple, or hickory, which are notorious for being tough on screws. It also works wonders with long screws, like the 3-inch screws you might use for framing or building a deck. The longer the screw, the more friction it creates. A little bit of wax or soap can be the difference between a screw that goes in smoothly and one that gets stuck halfway and strips out. It's a simple, cheap, and incredibly effective technique that should be in every woodworker's bag of tricks. We've covered a lot of ground, but it all comes down to a few key habits. If you can turn these practices into your standard routine, you will virtually eliminate the problem of stripped wood screws from your workshop. It's not about being a perfect woodworker, it's about being a thoughtful one. Let's summarize the simple professional approach into 5 key steps that will guarantee a perfect result every single time you drive a screw. These small adjustments will make a huge difference in the quality and enjoyment of your work. First, always drill a pilot hole. Match the drill bit to the shank of the screw, not the threads. This clears a path, reduces friction, and prevents the wood from splitting. Second, select the right driver bit. Test the fit before you drive. It should be snug with no wobble. This ensures maximum engagement and prevents cam out. Third, slow down. Use the low-speed, high-torque setting on your drill and let the screw do the work. This prevents overheating and gives you better control. Fourth, if you're using flathead screws, take a moment to countersink the hole so the head sits perfectly flush. It looks better and is stronger. And fifth, use quality hardware and a little bit of lubrication. Invest in good hardened steel screws, and for tough jobs, swipe the threads with wax or soap to make driving them effortless. By following these 5 steps, pilot hole, right bit, slow speed, countersink, and quality hardware, you are addressing every single one of the common causes of stripped screws. You are creating the perfect conditions for the screw to do its job effectively without putting unnecessary stress on the head. You are working with the materials, not against them. So the next time you reach for a screw, take a moment to reflect. Think back to those frustrating times you've had with a stripped head, a split board, or a screw that just wouldn't go in straight. Now you know why those things happen, and you have the knowledge to prevent them. It's the small things, the attention to detail, that separate good work from great work. Mastering this simple skill will not only make you a better woodworker, but it will also make the time you spend in your shop more productive and a whole lot more enjoyable.